We have reached the end of this short course about agile leadership. But maybe for you, this is the beginning of a long journey toward more agile leadership. I hope so. In any case, it's now time for us to review briefly the different topics we explored in this course. First, we realized together that organizations are facing a world that is getting more and more complex and more volatile, which calls for another type of leader, the kind of leader who can deliver value faster in the organization. Also the kind of leader who can make the organization adaptable, meaning that it can anticipate and react to changes better and faster. And to help us in this journey, we relied on the three-dimension agile leader model, which is made, as the name implies, of 3 dimensions, each of these dimensions consisting in 3 themes. The first theme, which is the first stop, is the first theme of the servant leader dimension, authenticity. Because first, the leader has to know himself or herself and being able to create meaningful and honest relationships with others. Then comes the vision. We can project ourselves in the future, co-create an inspiring vision, propagate it, and keep it alive in the organization. Then comes developing others, the capability of growing others in the organization, helping them to learn and transforming them into leaders. Then we move to the second dimension, value creator, because of course the purpose of the organization is to deliver value to someone. The first theme is stakeholders intimacy, because at first we need to understand who is expecting the value and how to create relationship with them to have trust between the organization and them. Second comes value focus. We learn how to qualify this value, how to define it, to prioritize it, and to make compromise. Then comes system thinking. The value creation process is a complex process. We have to understand the flow of value in the organization, knowing that this organization is a complex adaptive system. Then comes the third dimension of the model, intrapreneur, because besides the human side, which is more the servant leadership side, and the ability to generate value, product services, which is the value creator side, we need to lead the change, and that requires intrapreneurs, that requires innovation. The first theme is ideation. The leader is responsible to create spaces for ideation, to express, socialize ideas in a safe way and qualify them. Then comes experimentation, because we need to be able to make mistakes. We try things, and they might succeed or they might fail, but in any case, we are learning. And then comes growth mindset. We take these successful experiments, and as leader, we are capable to marshal resources and mindset to scale them up in the organization so that they deliver their full potential. As you went through the different lectures of this course, you probably looked for a way to start applying the different practices and stories, anecdotes that I told you within your organization, whether you are an expert, a manager, an entrepreneur. And this can be difficult. It can be difficult because contrary to technical skills, for example, programming, you cannot try agile leadership alone at home. It's by definition a social and a collective process. You have to try it with others. So how can you do that? Because you don't want at the same time to disturb the organization. You don't want to take a personal risk. So one way I came up with across the years to overcome this first obstacle toward agile leadership is to use what I call the agile management or agile leadership hacks. The hacks are a way to try something exactly like an experiment, which we saw in the course, right? Exactly like an experiment, to try something like a behavior or a practice in a non-threatening way, and sometimes even a playful way. So an agile leadership hack shares three characteristics. The first one is that it's emotional. It has to touch a sensitive topic and take people out of their zone of comfort. The second is that it's immediate. It is something that you can try literally tomorrow. You don't have to prepare much. It requires a lot of courage though. And the third is that it has to be visible, because you need to get a feedback on how this hack performed in your organization. And if it performed well, you also need the visibility so that others want to jump on the train, and they might say, oh, look what he tried. I'd like to try the same stuff. And then it becomes viral in the organization. So I included with this lecture a resource one-pager describing some hacks and a link to YouTube videos that I made to show how these hacks work. And as you work your way through these hacks, you'll probably discover that some of them make sense in your context, and even make some up by yourself, because it's all about context. There is no recipe for agile leadership. Unfortunately, we have here a good foundation. You have a good foundation, and you have to look at what could work in your organization and try things with the spirit of experimenting. It has been a great pleasure for me to teach you this class, and I thank you for attending this course. I really hope that I was able to convey not only some of my experience through this short course, but also, more importantly, some of my passion for agile leadership, and that you have now the desire to go further in agile leadership, because this is a noble type of leadership. It is good for us, good for organization, and good for the society at large. So please take the time to rate this course, to provide feedback